come in to ask questions, but we'll get started. Hello, 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 everyone. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the owner and co-founder of Dressing Roommate, a coaching and consulting platform for women entrepreneurs and women creatives. And the fabulous Elizabeth Eiss next to me does so many different really cool things. And I'm really excited because I don't think I've had anyone with like your company background on this platform yet. So can you share a little bit about, your company, how you got started, how you became the woman you are today?
Well, hey, it's a tall order or a short order. Anyway, I'll just, since I'm a few minutes late, I'll just kind of try to shorten this. I spent years in large corporate businesses, primarily in the insurance industry. And 16 years ago, I up and left and joined my first startup. And
Wow.
I'd always been, while I really ran businesses for a living, I'd always really liked technology and had been involved in a lot of technology projects. And so I joined my first startup, and to kind of cut to the chase, when you work in a startup or you consult for early stage companies, you find, innovative ways to find talent. And that's what set me on my path today. I got very good at adding freelance talent, finding and vetting freelance talent to have those people join my teams because they were projects for a couple of months or whatever they might be. And I got really good at finding great talent because it was my brand. So these people had to be a super tight part of my team. And
Gotcha.
I quickly realized that there's amazing talent out there that wants to freelance, that doesn't want to be a full-time employee, that they're their own boss. And they have an LLC or whatever, they're their own boss, and they really want to share they want to do what they love doing, and they want to contribute. And I got really good at finding those people, and my clients started to notice and they would say, hey, Natasha, she was an awesome person. She contributed so much to this project. Can you find us a Natasha? And of course I could, but they were having to look over my shoulder at my LinkedIn account or whatever. And so basically, again, tapping into my technology background, I decided I could build a technology platform that was really geared to small and mid-sized businesses and nonprofits, because I frankly felt that those were the businesses that could benefit most from freelance talent, because they had fewer resources, perhaps didn't have an HR background, hadn't done a lot of recruiting, and that's really that's what I was passionate about, is helping small business, small entrepreneurs really set up shop and compete, basically fight above their weights. And I think that's what freelancers can do for small business. And so the net was, over a period of time, I designed and built what's called ResultsResourcing today. And we're an online freelance talent concierge service, as well as a platform. And what kind of makes us unique is that we're really exclusively focused on small business, not large enterprises who don't need our help. And what we did was we built a system that took, no one pushes paper, took all but the computer calls on humans to step in, and it's the human being that actually finds, vets, interviews, and curates talent for our clients. So at the end of the day, in less than 2 weeks, when our clients post a job with us, they get a talent pool of 3 freelancers that were curated by human beings for them, and satisfaction guaranteed. So that's kind of what we do for a living, and that's in 5 minutes or less how I got from working in large business to results resourcing.
Gotcha. I'm just sharing the link right now so people can check out the website. And how hard was it to absolutely, to build out this platform so you're essentially creating your own tech startup?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I would consider myself a tech entrepreneur. I didn't at the time. I was just trying to figure out how I could share what I know and how I could find freelancers for the client, the target market I wanted to work with. But I really am a tech entrepreneur, and I would say that it's not for everyone. You really have to be kind of systems and process oriented, and that doesn't mean that you're a complete nerd or you can't communicate or things like that. But you have to kind of think systematically, which I guess I do, and I could think through step 1 to 2 to 3 and how things branched off, to make it happen. And clearly I had help along the way. I had talented developers that work with me and other people. I mean, I've hired freelancers all along to support my business. In fact, I have a very small team, and I have a lot of great freelancers who are part of my team. So we live and breathe what our clients live and breathe every single day.
Okay. And when it comes to hiring, and I'm actually a former legal recruiter, so this topic definitely like makes my heart very warm because I actually loved recruiting. It was just a very high, fast-paced role because it was temp doc review, and
Yep.
probably yeah, that world is not so fun. Law firms, may not always be as cuddly as they want. Adrian Garland says hi. Hello, Adrian. We'll talk about She Leads. Don't worry. What I always loved as a recruiter was really that one-to-one opportunity to speak with the potential candidate. And it was always fascinating to me, like, who were the key winners and then who, like, did not care. They were just there for a paycheck and they didn't even put in any effort, right? So I'd love for you to share, because I think now, given kind of how you talked about this world of like, there are a lot of people now going towards contractor world. What are keys for you to for a person to stand out as a candidate for either, working with a platform like yourself or just trying to make a shift in their career?
That's a great question, and I think the biggest thing I would comment upon is it's really the theme of entrepreneurship, is that I think people think about freelancing. If they're thinking about going into freelancing, they're actually trying just to escape the 9-to-5, and that's the biggest mistake. I mean, with any kind of entrepreneurship, whether it's building a results resourcing or a She Leads Media or whatever it might be, you have to be passionate about something, and you have to be willing to endure the trial by fire, because not everything works out. You've got to be able to pivot, and I think that actually, whether you're an entrepreneur or you want to be a freelancer, which frankly is starting a business for yourself, and it's just about you and your brand and whatever you want, you have to really understand what you're good at, build the team around you to fill in the gaps, and understand what you're going to deliver to the client. And really convey that with passion. And I think that part of the reason the gig economy is happening is because there are a lot of people that are uninspired about their 9-to-5 jobs, and so companies look for people that are inspired. And when you have technology that enables companies to find people that are highly skilled and motivated and results oriented, not punching a clock oriented, but really results oriented, that makes a difference. And clearly companies need core teams to keep the lights on and have a common base for culture and process and things like that. But frankly, the stats are amazing. That the prediction is that by 2027, which is not very far away, almost 51% of the workforce will be freelancing, not full-time. Now, some of that may be people that have side gigs, but the trend is extraordinary. And it's because people want to freelance, they want to do what they want to do, and they want flexible schedules, and they're willing to be responsible for that. And then more and more companies want to be more agile, because companies can't predict what customers want in the future. So they've got to have an agile workforce that helps them adapt as things change.
Wow, that's incredible. And also then begs the question, I think there's going to have to be some type of development in the insurance space, actually, right? Because I think the practicality of when you go from working for someone else to working for yourself, it's all good and dandy. You can make the money, but something that affects all of us really is that healthcare. How can I still affordably get healthcare, because privatized healthcare is very expensive, and it's easier to get your healthcare through your employer, even though that sometimes can be expensive as well. But results, so your company, that's just like a side tangent, but
no, it's very real. Many freelancers either have a partner that provides that, or they do get healthcare on the open market. I mean, it's one of the responsibilities of having a business and making sure your basic needs are taken care of. And that definitely does not come with being a freelancer. And The other thing that I think is interesting, though, especially for small business, is the security of a full-time job isn't always there anymore. And a lot of companies, because it's so
Yes.
expensive, are not offering those benefits. So, you
Yes.
know, some people, if that's really important, especially if they have family and kids. So it's just one of the things that needs to be weighed into the whole process of deciding whether
Absolutely.
a freelance career is right for you. But definitely
Yeah.
hiring freelancers can make a lot of sense for business for certain kinds of
Hmm.
roles that they don't need somebody full-time every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
Ongoing.
mean, I think for me, that transition myself when so I'm a lawyer by trade, and then I jumped into entrepreneurship about 3 years ago. And yeah, thankfully, I do have the support of my husband and all of that good stuff. But it's a lot of considerations that you make when you
Yeah.
make any type of major shift in your career. Now, I would love to know with so as a platform servicing both the small businesses, the nonprofits who are looking for freelancers, and then the freelancers, how do they talk to each other on the platform? Do the essentially your clients being the organizations, do they put out bids and then the freelancers like bid for them, or do you do the interim? Like, I'd love for you to work out how technologically it works.
Okay, well, that was a pretty good sense of it, though.
Oh,
The
okay.
first thing we do is we have a, if you will, a job profile wizard on the platform. So the client takes a survey, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times one of the, if you've ever had writer's block, people feel that way about writing a job description, or they've
Yes.
never written one
Mm-hmm.
before. They have a hard time thinking about the skills they need. So we basically built a short survey that 15 questions walks them through the things they need to think about. And many of the
Okay.
questions are multiple choice because we know what the answers are. It's just which answer is right for the client. And there are
Okay.
text boxes where they can describe, but it's a 5-minute process. They push a button and the system
Nice.
turns that survey into a job description. And then, we go through
Oh.
some more steps, but once that job description is finalized, it
Yep.
becomes a request for proposal. And so we post
Mm.
that out to the marketplace because we search for freelancers, not just on our platform.
Hmm.
We recruit on LinkedIn, we recruit on Upwork, we recruit,
Nice.
there's 350 places to search for talent these
Woo.
days. There are tons of
Wow.
platforms and many are very specialized, and every single one has a different value proposition. So we've
Yep.
become an expert in where to go to find people, because if you don't do this for
Hmm.
a living, you're not going to know all the places great people hang out.
True. Very
You're
true.
going to go to the common places where the great people don't hang out. So so basically we basically post the job, and then
Yeah.
we go back and check those sites, every couple of days
Mm.
to see who has proposed. And then we pull
Hmm.
all those proposals together on our platform, because it's ultimately the platform needs to match through the system the client's job with the
Gotcha.
freelancers that have applied, and that
Okay.
makes the match. And then that we basically filter through the matches and say, okay, if literally sometimes 100 people will apply, we
Mm.
sift through 100, 150, 200 people, and we
Oh, wow.
find the top 10%. And we will actually go interview through, like, a Skype video interview, the top
Nice.
candidates. So at the end of the day, and the whole process takes 2 weeks. And that's not because it takes
Oof.
us a long time, it's because the best freelancers don't apply right away because they're busy.
Of
So it
course.
takes about
Yeah.
2 weeks for us to find and vet at least 3 candidates that, frankly, we stand behind and we think
Okay.
are a good fit from a skill, experience, cost, and cultural fit, because culture is
Mm.
important. It's not just
Yes.
having skills; you got to be able to get along and
Absolutely.
get the vibe of the company.
Absolutely. And then do you also do the onboarding for the client?
We can. That's an extra service, but yes, we manage,
Wow.
for all clients, whether they ask us to help with them with the onboarding or not, we do
Hmm.
monitor the job and we manage the payment process. So we're
Mm.
kind of the payment intermediary, and the client puts a deposit on the platform. It's held until the client approves the invoice and is happy with the work. And then the
Hmm.
freelancer invoices on the platform, and we end up handling the payments and keep everybody
Wow.
comfortable.
Okay, so yeah, so you're that in between for the entire process. I love that because
Yeah.
it means you're very connected, and from my recruiter brain is like, yes, like I really like I'm liking this.
Yeah.
I'm liking this a lot. Okay. And also on now on the candidate side or the freelancer side, do you do any type of coaching or preparation to help the freelancer with their proposal to be more likely to get their proposal seen or interviewed more?
We do. Um,
Nice.
we do that through kind of online prompts, you know, when people are creating their
Mm,
profiles and proposing on jobs. And then if we have a really good candidate, you know, we never try to put words in their mouth, but we try to coach
yeah.
them in terms of if we think they're a fit, this is really what the client's looking for. So make sure that you're
Mm,
focused on the customer in your proposal. Because if it's just
yes.
all about you and you don't customize it to what the client says they need, then why is the client going to pick you? And so
Hmm.
that's probably one of the biggest things that still mystifies me. I mean, on our platform, for example, when the client gets a proposal, there are links to a freelancer's website, to their LinkedIn profile, because the
Yep.
client needs to be able to check that stuff out for themselves. And
Mm,
there's even on our platform a room for a tagline. So somebody could create a tagline, say they're an
smart.
exemplary virtual assistant, which happens to be the most popular job that we ever search for. You know, they can just say virtual assistant, which doesn't
Yeah.
describe anything, or they can say passion for perfection virtual assistant. That conveys
Mm,
something, you know, and
absolutely.
so I see
Absolutely.
that people that want to freelance miss so many opportunities to distinguish themselves
Mm,
and make it
mm,
clear who they are and why they should be picked, because
yes.
ultimately people want to work with people,
Yes.
and I think
Yes.
people feel like they're just filling out a form, and yeah, it may be the 100th time they fill out that form, but as a recruiter, you know that it's maybe the first time somebody has seen that
Yes.
resume, even if it's the 100th time the candidates filled it out. And I know it gets
Absolutely.
tiring, but you know, in a tight labor market, you've got to do the things that you can do to really
Hmm.
differentiate yourself.
Absolutely. So I love two things that you said there. First, storytelling. I actually just announced
Yep.
I'm going to do like a live stream on storytelling, guys. That's what she's talking about. It's not just about your resume. Anyone can put together a resume. Anyone can, there's a million of people probably who do what we all do, right? Like I know people think we're all unique and we are like in the combination of us, but in individual things that we do, a lot of us are doing the same thing. So you have to be able to craft a story, craft what makes you unique in your offering. And then secondly, putting in the work, right? I love that you said it might be the 100th time you sent this resume, but it's the first time the company that you want to work for might see it. So what does that mean? You'll have one opportunity to make a great first
Exactly.
impression. One opportunity.
Yeah.
So own that, right? And like
Yeah.
and make sure that you've done what you need to do on your end. And because you can't control how people interpret you, accept you, not accept you, but you do control what you do and what you say and how you present yourself. So
Yeah.
love that. Okay, and then I guess what I would love to another thing I'd love to talk to everyone about is the fact that we're both speakers, right, at She Leads 2018. And so if you aren't familiar with what She Leads 2018 is, then you're living under a rock. Oh my goodness, let us save you.
I agree.
So that's taking place this Friday, guys. I put the link in there as well, so in the comments, so everyone can go and check that out. What are you going to be talking about, sharing at the conference? How did you come to collaborate with Adrian? Share all that.
Okay, well, I think I'll start with the second part first. I went to my
Mhm.
first She Leads conference last year and really,
Nice.
really enjoyed it. One of the things I love about Adrian and the She Leads conference is that it's not all pie in the sky theory. I mean, yeah, people go there to learn and hear perspectives
Yeah.
from people that are at all different points in their career journey, but it's really action oriented. What can you
Yes.
take away that's going to make a difference for you tomorrow? And
Mm.
and you know, every single session was very action oriented, and I just that's I'm a results oriented person, and I just think that
Yes.
if you're going to invest the time, invest it where you can kind of do some of the work right there, and then
Exactly.
go away with an action plan. So that's one of the things that I really love about, you know, Adrienne's events and how she thinks about the world. And so what the panel I'm going to be participating on is really all about, you know, entrepreneurship in the second chapter, and which I think is really a great theme, because frankly I've lost track of all my chapters, and you know, I'm always turning the page to either extend that chapter or start something fresh. And that's just kind of my philosophy of life. I mean, I just,
Yeah.
there will never be a conclusion to my book, you know, until,
Yeah.
you know, the big event. But I think that we really need to think about chapters and building on what's worked for us in the past and what's our passion in the future. And so I think as a theme, it's a really good one. And I think Adrienne's recognized that a lot of people do, as a second chapter, decide, like I did. I had a terrific career in the insurance industry, really enjoyed it. I learned so much, but at some point, you know, I felt typecast as an insurance executive. And that's when I went a different way. And since that time, I had many chapters in the insurance industry, and I have had many chapters now. And I think that as much as possible, you know, build yourself a platform and a bit of a safety net so you can explore and find what really excites you. Because when you do that, you know, I know it's that old phrase about when you find out what you love, you never work another day in your life. I know it's kind of a tried expression, but I think it's really true, and it's not static. So I think anything that helps people think about that next chapter, and how to do it. And frankly, back to the gig economy, another cool thing about the gig economy is it helps people experiment. It helps people, you know, have a side hustle while they still have the security of a paycheck and benefits. You know, you can, and millennials are highly skilled at this. They have so many things going as a general rule, that I think they're a great model for that. And so whether you're a business, you started a business as a second chapter, you can experiment with new ideas for your business by hiring freelancers that don't require a payroll commitment, benefits commitment. And you can try a new idea out in the market that you may not even know your customers want, but you hire somebody, an expert, a freelance expert that's already been down that road, and you learn from that person's expertise and apply it to your business. And it's the same thing with people that want to try something new. Now, it's not easy necessarily to build a clientele as a freelancer. It's not instant, you know, even joining a platform. There's a lot of things that need to happen for you to get clients on platforms, you know, to build a track record and a reputation. But at the same time, you know, if you have some unique ideas, freelance is a great way to try it out to see if it works for you.
Absolutely. I love that. And with the advent of like how big influencers are and social media, I'd love for you to also talk a little bit about just the types of, I guess, freelancers that you guys are primarily looking for, and then the types of opportunities that you're seeing these small, mid-sized companies and nonprofits are looking for. Because I think unless, like you said earlier, unless you're in the space of like hiring, people don't actually really know what's trending, what is something that you could pick up a side gig on, right? So I'd love for you to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about the latter first, because for us, we're completely focused on the customer with the job. You know, while we love to, you know, add great freelancers to the platform, if there's no jobs, then we can't help them, you know, move forward. So, you know, our efforts are really at building clients who want to find great freelance talent. So I've kind of developed my own freelance hierarchy of needs, kind of like Maslow's. And it's 3 levels. The base level is very tactical, and that's where every single business comes in. They're looking, you know, they're afraid to hire, or they've had bad experiences, or they're so used to doing everything themselves that they finally hit the breaking point and say, okay, I need a virtual assistant, or I need someone to help me with my bookkeeping or whatever. That's the kind of thing they come into first, content writing. And so that's number 1. So, and I'll talk more about what examples are in just a second, but that's number one. Then once they have some experience, they say, oh, yeah, this works for me. Then they start thinking about revenue generating things. And so then they're thinking about, oh, maybe customer support roles, or maybe I need somebody to help me think about my social media strategy, or posting to my website, you know, building a new website. You know, it's the basics. I mean, people are not looking for esoteric things at the first two levels. And then, and pretty much only then, do they in what I would call strategic things, hiring a business consultant or a strategist to help them think through things. Those are more intangible, and the initial needs really are all about, you know, running the business and then generating revenue and building clients. And once those things are satisfied, then they start thinking about, okay, how can I think differently about my business to help it grow? So I started with that because that's where we focus, but that's also good context for people who want to freelance, because they have to, again, think about what they're good at and what they love doing, and think about what businesses need. And so, frankly, one of the most popular jobs is the virtual assistant. And there are virtual assistants that range from people who basically do data entry, calendar management, and email management, to people that used to be executive assistants for Fortune 5,000 CEOs. That's the range of people that are freelancing. And so if you've got great project management skills and organize, you know, that have great customer interpersonal skills, you know, it may not be a bad thing to start out, you know, with thinking more about administrative assistant. And I don't mean to be turning people into secretaries. That's not the idea, but it's such a broad role. And the other thing that I found that people are coming to us in the virtual assistant role looking for real solid expertise in different CRM platforms, for example. They want people to, or mail marketing campaign systems. There's some real technological requirements to these roles, because those are the kinds of things that absolutely mystify small business, and they want an expert to rely on. And so I simply mention that because I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I used to be, you know, the senior executive at this and this and this, but at least small and mid-sized businesses aren't looking for that. You know, if you want to get into and start getting a reputation and build clients that you can build from, think about some of the more tactical things, or making it clear that you can help them build a social media strategy so they just don't pay for Facebook ads without really understanding the ramifications, or the fact that the algorithm changes every week, because they spend money without making anything, and then they get disillusioned and don't want to do it anymore. And then I guess I would just make a comment to people that really are committed to delivering higher level consulting. I mean, it's possible. Results resourcing doesn't place a lot of that today, but there are platforms like Upwork. I was looking, we were doing a kind of an outsourced CFO search the other day for a client. And, you know, there are some very high paid outsourced CFOs, like on the Upwork platform. And that is, if you haven't read about it, they're going for an IPO. That's the largest freelance platform in the world, frankly. The second, frankly, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn, a lot of people get jobs through LinkedIn.
Yes, absolutely.
But I would say, you know, that might be a place to start, you know, if you really wanted to do some higher level stuff. And then a lot of the big consulting firms have what they call genius bars, or talent platforms, PwC, Deloitte, and they've realized that having a freelance capacity and a platform for that allows them to offload consultants that are on the beach or not working, and have people that have talents. Say, you know, there's a huge thing about blockchain or artificial intelligence. They may not have the latest and the greatest expertise, you know, hired at those firms. And so they use the talent bar for people that are experts in those things to sign up and be freelancers through and be eligible for those projects that some of the big consulting firms happen to have going. So there's just a lot of different ways people can participate in the gig economy. And we happen to have one niche that we've automated to make it inexpensive and affordable and really tangible for smaller and mid-sized businesses. But there are big businesses, enterprise businesses, that want that higher level talent, and there's different ways to go after it.
I love this. Oh gosh, I'm like so excited that you're sharing your story and your company with the Dressing Room Mate platform, because people are looking for jobs everywhere, and I'm super excited to learn even more about the platform. So guys, she can't give it all. Wait a minute now. If you want to know more, if you're looking to connect with her, she's a phenomenal resource. Where are you going to find us both? Come to She Leads 2018 this Friday. No excuses. Come network with her, share your business card, share your story with her. She's obviously open to sharing and talking, and I loved all the information you shared. I think it's really interesting. I think, congratulations on all your success and being a woman-led tech company. That's super dope and super empowering. I love this. Oh, I can't wait to meet you in person. So like I said, yeah, thank you. And we definitely need to keep talking. If you watching this on the live, watching this on replay, if you have questions, please put them in the comment section, and we both can come in here and kind of respond. And with that, do you have any last minute words of advice for people, maybe they're trying to figure out what's next in their career, kind of like how you said, you can't count how many chapters. Maybe someone wants to get to that next chapter. What should they do? And then I've shared your website, but if you want to share your information again, feel free.
Okay. I think the only thing I would say is really the only limits are those you put on yourself. I mean, don't think about age. Don't think about what you've done before. Start with what you love, and maybe it may not always be economically viable to that being the only thing you do immediately. You may want to start by interning somewhere to complement a steady job. But I just think that when I think about myself, I mean, I'm not telling how old I am, but I'm older than you think I am. And 10 years ago, I became a tech entrepreneur, and I started in the insurance industry. Now, insurance industry, I think, is an awesome industry because I was in the commercial end of things, and I spent my days learning about what makes a good commercial business run. So it's really, really interesting. It was satisfied a perpetually curious mind. But I think that's my advice is just think big, and then scale back as you need to, but don't put limits on yourself because you don't need to. So that's, I think, my biggest message is, find a way to go for it and just be creative about it and be prepared to pivot. Because if you do that, most people can't. So if you can pivot, you're much further ahead than a lot of other people. And,
absolutely. I love that.
Go female power. I mean.
Yes. The feminist in me is just like, yes, all day, all day. But yeah, listen, I came from a science background, went to law school, became a licensed attorney, then went into legal education sales, then went into entrepreneurship. And like you, I don't know what my next chapters will be, but I'm looking forward to the journey. And like you, I believe you can live life without any limitations. One of my favorite idols in my world was Maya Angelou. She had 12 different things she did. I love that. Growing up and knowing her story, it made me know that I could be and do whatever I wanted. And the only limits are in your mind. When you say you can't do something, then you can't. But in reality, we can do whatever we want. It's just, do you want to, right? And what are you going to do?
Sometimes you just have to, confront, not in a negative way, but confront the naysayers and just refuse to believe no and say I can. And frankly, instead of viewing people as trying to keep you back, prove them, educate them, teach them that no. I mean, I had a lot of agents in the very beginning of my career that really didn't want a woman underwriter, but I was good enough that after a while they'd rather have me even though I was a woman, because I was going to do a better job. And then it didn't become about being a woman at all. And so I think you can help people along the journey and become more open-minded just by being good at what you do and enthusiastic and passionate and not thinking like a victim. You know, just thinking, just being who you are and just letting it out.
I love it. Yes. And where can they find you? How can they connect with you?
Oh, thank you. Well, our website is the best way to reach us, and it's ResultsResourcing.com. And the way I named the company because we resource results. And that's essential, you know, so it's, you know, we called it ResultsResourcing.com, but the website's there and it's got a, you know, big check mark in a box because we check the box and we get stuff done. And we've got the ability to, you just send us a support message or chat. You know, we want to be available, but that's the best way to reach us.
I love it.
Looking forward to seeing many of you, if not all of you who are listening at She Leads on Friday. And thank you very much, Adrian, for being inspired with the whole She Leads conference and She Leads Media. And I'm really looking forward to contributing you know, to the event on Friday. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Me too. All right. So I'll see you on Friday and we'll see you guys on Friday as well. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.